seeing compensation, going after those who were rogue elements in these whole demonstrations.
Yeah.
As CIOC chair, can we, have you seen anything in the way of goodwill? Do we need legislation? Whereas the promises are being made, what do we need in line with that constitution to be done so that we see, okay, fine, in the wake of these last 2 months, these promises have been kept in this manner?
According to the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, if I'm not wrong, about 60 young people have been killed for the last 1.5 months out of those protests and demonstrations. I haven't had the government come out very clearly on a compensation plan, because the president said during one of his addresses to the nation that the government of Kenya is going to do compensation. Even those that were in hospitals, we were told they are going to be taken care of, the bills are going to be paid, but we haven't seen any follow-up. We may not maybe grill them so much, especially on the medication bills, because now he has no cabinet secretary for health. So the PS may hide with that excuse and say, I don't have a boss, so I may not be able to give a way forward. But George,
yes,
losing 60 lives is not just any other activity. This is a very serious issue, and it is our sincere hope that the police are going to allow people to express themselves without violence, because the police are the ones who are actually creating violence, like I said.
Okay.
If you bar people from doing what they believe is right, they will definitely protest and protest against you. So I hope the police will just make sure that they protect the protected areas where they do not allow people to access. For example, if the protesters want to go to State House, that's a protected area. If the protesters want to go to Parliament, that's a protected area. If the protesters want to go to Kenyatta Avenue, they are free to do so, because Kenyatta Avenue is not a protected area. But I think the police don't know what not to protect and what not to, to allow. Because I wonder why a police officer would be engaging protesters on the tarmac road in Kenyatta Avenue. You can fight people if they come, for example, to this studio and say, this is a protected area, we are not going to allow you. But you can't fight protesters everywhere, including in the streets, including in their houses. We saw them follow protesters in Pipeline Estates. We saw them follow protesters in Upper Murema Drive, following even to the houses. So I don't understand to what extent the police are supposed to do it, but according to the Constitution, I don't think that is right. So we as members of Parliament have a duty to ask questions.
Okay.
And my committee that I chair as the chair of
CIOC,
committee that oversees the implementation of the Kenyan Constitution, we have a lot of questions to ask to IPOA.